Hi Raphi, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, bro. What about you?
Good, mate. Thank you so much for being here today. I just think mental health is a big thing for both of us, and I think it's very important, especially as two men, to discuss what it's like, our experience and how this impacts, in society, just understanding of mental health sort of thing. So yeah, I really want to discuss that with you today, sort of thing.
100%. I can imagine the amount of videos that I haven't seen of two men just
Yeah.
sitting down, having that kind of conversation face to face, going through the experiences, thoughts, feelings, stigmas, whatever it may be. It's a rare sight.
I just think, in society, like men, it's almost looked down upon to show your emotions and showcase your feelings and what goes through your mind. Like, for a long time, I think there was so much going on up here, and I couldn't verbalize it because, I feel like my mates, other people who were in my surrounding friendship, I just think there was a lack of understanding, there was a lack of common knowledge, and like, it is a real shame how, especially guys have this attitude towards emotions that you can't showcase your feelings because you're seen weak or you're seen vulnerable, and that's just not the case.
100%. It's all about that kind of toxic masculinity coming in.
Yeah.
It's just that if you show your feelings, if you show that you're feeling sad or you cry, it's like you're weak or
Yeah.
you're not a typical ego man, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
But like, that's just not the case, is it? Like, in fact, I feel like if you do showcase your emotions, it's a kind of strength that other men don't have. I mean, to me, what's the biggest shame is, as a depression's been something and anxiety is something I've dealt with for a long time, and I was going through school.
It's tough.
Yeah, well, it's fucking tough, isn't it?
To even sit there and try and verbalise your own
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings to yourself, let alone to actually other people and put it out on the plate,
It's
really
crazy,
difficult.
man. It's crazy because you have so much going on up here, and it's not pleasant. There's so much going on up here, and you want to be able to discuss it. You want to be able to talk about it, but you can't vocalize it.
It's so tough.
And
And it's like irrational as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, you could say, but like
Yeah.
it's not for you. It's not what
Yeah.
you want to think. So to even say like this is what's going through my head,
Yeah.
it's kind of like this isn't me. I don't want people to
Yeah.
think this is what I'm about.
Exactly. But when you're there, and I've been in a very dark place, and what I always try and say is like, when you're there, you can't visualize or you can't see things getting better. And as much as there are, I have really good days. I go through stages where I'm happy. I'm fine. Mental health isn't a thing for me. But then all of a sudden, I could wake up in the morning and I have this darkness in my mind, and it's like I can't do anything about that. And it's like I do want to be able to talk about it, but the fact that I don't understand what's going through my own head is what's so fucking
It's the
scary.
toughest thing. That's the problem. It's just like waking up. You could be 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year without going through any bad feelings or thoughts, and you wake up
Yeah.
one day and then you're just bombarded by everything. You don't get a chance to breathe. You don't get a chance to think about anything
Yeah.
other than those horrendous thoughts or whatever they may be. It's just tough to kind of pull yourself out of
Yeah.
that without reaching out and annoying or being a burden on other people.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is really, because I mean, I know from myself, I didn't want to vocalize what I was experiencing because I felt like I was being a burden, or I think and it's just that acceptance that that isn't the case. But I think until men like ourselves, and it becomes a lot more normalized where people just happily openly discuss if they're feeling shit. I'll be like, look, Raphi, I'm not having a good day today, and I think things will be a lot better. But until that happens, a lot of people suffer in silence. So
100%. It's not normal to go and see your friends one day and be like, guys, I'm feeling just suicidal today, or
yeah,
I just don't like myself, I don't like anything
Yeah.
that's going on. To actually sit down and tell your best friends that, and then be comfortable to have that situation
Yeah.
and conversation to actually put it out, it's obviously not a norm.
And I completely agree with that. I think it comes down to like an educational thing, really. I think when there's a common understanding, and I think when people have this understand that people go through some shit, they may develop the skills to be able to handle those situations better. I mean, I know from experience that I think the reason I didn't want to talk about it, and there was definitely a combination of factors, but one of them definitely being I felt people would not understand, and it would be, they would come from a standpoint, well, because they don't have depression or anxiety, it's like, well, it doesn't exist almost. And when that's the problem you face, it's like, well, how the fuck can I talk about something that, someone else can't really comprehend,
100%. Some people just disregard it because they don't see any physical symptoms.
Yeah.
It's obviously quite hard to tell if someone's anxious or depressed. They kind of just assume like you can brush it off, pick yourself up and feel better the next day, and it's just not like that at all. That is the problem. You can't get out of it.
No, it's one of those things, like, it's fucking dark, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're there and you're in this I always describe it as this cloud. I have this this dark cloud that just comes into my head, and when it comes, I'm sort of, it like sucks away every single inch of my personality, and I deep inside I'm like, there's no happiness or anything coming through, and as much as I want it to come through, there's nothing there.
It drains you, like it takes everything out of you whatsoever. Like in my back in the day bad days where I'd been depressed for weeks on end, I'll literally be in my bed crying myself to sleep. You don't see any way out of it. You're literally in there. Like you said, you don't think you're ever going to get better.
No.
And it really is just a matter of trying to lift that weight off your shoulders. If you take that cloud and pass it on to someone else, you still have that cloud with you, but it's hard.
I think that's it's like, the fact is, when you discuss or talk about your emotions, like like something like we're doing here, you almost, it's like this burden, this weight that you have on your shoulders, or this it's all, like you said, you half it, and it's not a cure, it's not a fix. You don't, you're not gonna wake up the next day fucking,
oh, I'm happy, shit, I don't care about anything.
Exactly. That's not the case, but it's this it relieves so much tension, and I just think that's why I think it's so important to discuss your emotions. But I want to discuss a little bit more about when you are in this dark place, and what those kind of feelings are like, so people can sort of understand it.
100%. I mean, personally, when I was like year 10, year 11 was when like the forefront of stuff came to my mind, where I was quite severely depressed. Even now today, my self-esteem is still quite low, but then it was like horrendous. I didn't like anything about myself, my voice, my looks, what it may be. And then just generally, I just didn't want to do anything. Like, I felt so shit, and physically, in terms of, I couldn't pick myself up to go eat. I couldn't pick myself up to go brush my teeth or do anything. It's just, and my bed was like the main place where I stayed for a lot of the time, because I just laid there until
it's just
I didn't want to get up.
It's, you know what it is, like when there's something about when you're just in bed, it's like,
it's a safe space.
It's comfort. It's you're comfortable, and when I'm there and I'm in this mindset, it's almost like I don't want to do anything. Like it's hard to go upstairs. What I think people don't understand is, it's hard to getting out of bed. It's hard. It's not something you can just, I'm gonna have a quick little shower. That's not a possibility. You like, even though in your mind you're like, really need to do, you don't have the willpower.
Not at all, especially when you're in the thick of it as well. It's so overpowering that you just want to stay there. It's like, it's the one place where I feel somewhat okay. If I get up and start the day, then something's bad's gonna happen.
I completely agree. I think going back to you mentioned this is stuff you experienced in year 10 and 11, and I think what's crazy is, looking from the outside, I would have looked at you and think, you're a happiest guy, you're this confident, you not have a care in the world. And I think on the surface, that is the case for a lot of people who, have mental health problems, because like you said, it's invisible and you can't see it. It's like it doesn't exist almost, but that's not the case.
Not at all. It's literally just like, I don't even know how to put it into words.
Sounds like you need a cough.
Corona, don't worry. It's just really hard. Like, if you're in those days, like, you go to school every single day, you don't want to show that, I'm feeling shit, because like, obviously back then it's also a stigma, no one understands. You put on the face, you put on the happy face, and you kind of just carry yourself through most days. It's never easy, but sadly say, you just get used to it at some point.
I think, and that's the difficulty really, is no matter how dark and how much you want to improve in your life to get better, it's like, because changing your mentality is so hard. You're almost comfortable feeling a certain way. Obviously it's not something you want to feel, but because the thought of changing your whole mind and your the way you think, the effort that is needed. It's almost like I'm speaking from personal experiences here. I don't know if you relate, but it's like I don't have the strength, the mental fortitude to change my mindset.
Not at all. It's not a quick, easy process at all. I mean, personally for me, the past year and a half, I've been trying to be more positive, just out of everything, whether it be optimistic for wherever it may be. And like even today, like there'll still be bad days, but I'm getting better. But it's only like a year and a half down the line. There's still loads of other steps I need to take to help my self-esteem, wherever it be. But changing your mindset is one of the hardest things that won't come quickly.
It doesn't. It's not like an overnight fix. It's like, I think what's important to realize is you will have bad days, you will have good days, but I think when you have those bad days, and this is again I'm speaking about myself, a problem that I commonly have is I beat myself up. When I'm feeling shit, I'm saying, well, I'm a fucking loser. Why are you feeling this? You're not going to do anything. And then it's that overthinking that
triggers the more overthinking and gets into deeper.
You're feeling a lot worse.
And then you're nitpicking the small things as well from that.
And it's crazy how one thought can almost like spiral into like this madness. And I think that's why it's almost like why I think there needs to be a better like educational standpoint. So yes, I understand therapy is an option and things like that, but it's a very real thing to experience these kind of thoughts, and not having proper techniques or knowing that they are normal and whatnot, it can be really dangerous.
100%. I mean, like you said, you beat yourself up, you feel bad for yourself. The one thing I always try to remember is not be too harsh on yourself. Like I said, there's going to be bad days. There's going to be days where you just don't want to do anything. And obviously sometimes you need to pick yourself up and carry on, but other days you need to kind of just go, you know what, like today it's not a good day. Like do things that'll make you feel happy, relax, listen to music, draw some things, talk and get your feelings out, wherever it may be.
Exactly.
Just look after yourself, self-care.
I agree. I think it's very important, and speaking of, I can see you're in a positive mindset and whatnot. But when you're in that place, it's very hard to going back to what we said about being in bed and things like that. It is hard to make that step. And so I think even if it's the small things you do, if it is like you said, listening to music or drawing or whatever it is, you got to reward yourself for that. You even if it is something as simple as I got out of bed and I went on a walk. Pat yourself from the back, because that's not something. That's
not an easy thing to do when you're in the thick of it. And it's really drag you down. The smallest thing is an accomplishment on that day, and that's what some people need to remember. You need to bring yourself up when you're feeling that down. That's the only really way to get out of it, other than just letting time pass.
Because the thought, like, it will pass, but when you're there, you can't see it.
You never see it.
The way to sort of work around it is just this common understanding that this isn't permanent, and I'm feeling this way because I've had a bad day, something happened, there's a trigger or whatever, and the acknowledgement that this is just a temporary mindset. And I think it won't like I said, it's not going to make you better, but it's just that understanding that it isn't, it's not always going to be this way.
It's going to help ease your thoughts and feelings at a time. It's like, it may be shit now, it might not be shit tomorrow, but at some point it's going to be slightly better. But you mentioned education earlier as well. I think that's a massive point, because in school, or at least back when we were in school, I don't know what it's like today, you're not told about kind of mental health. You're not kind of told about the things to look out for, small things of what you might be feeling. So when you are feeling those things, you kind of just feel alienated. It's like, is this normal? Like, does anyone else feel like this? Like, you know what to think to yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, I've had conversations in the past where people, when you experience mental, like, whatever it is, whatever thoughts you experience, you feel like you're the only one in that boat. You feel like there is no, I'm not, I'm an abnormally, is that the word? Abnormality. I don't even know, mate. But you just think there's no one else who understands what I'm going through, and you know, in the reality is, you know, in a class of 30, I mean, I'm not even going to state a statistic because it'll probably be wrong, but the chances are there will be, you know, 5-6 people in that class who are thinking, you know, similar things to you, 100%. But because there's this lack of communication, you know, you do feel alienated and you do feel isolated. And I feel like the school, especially the school system, should, you know, try and address that, whether that's doing like, you know, I don't know, meditation like once a week or
semester, just kind of showing and just showing the importance of the kind of things to remember.
Definitely.
I mean, when I was in JFS, I didn't really know there was a therapist available until I got referred to it from the head of year. So it's just like that kind of acknowledgement and awareness of what's going on around you. It's just not there, or wasn't there at least when we were there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, especially when you start, you know, secondary school, you know, from about 12 to 16, you go through massive changes, like, you know, physically, mentally, and if you don't, you know, if you don't come to terms with the changes you're going through, it's very hard. So I think, you know, whilst you're, you know, school obviously is a place of learning, a place, you know, it's a stepping stone to later on in life. I think at the same time, you know, school should, you know, a school system should have, you know, obliged to help their students mentally. And, you know, as a 14-15-year-old kid, you know, I remember so many times I'd be in lessons, and, you know, I'm not afraid to say this now, but I would, you know, because there were so few people, I didn't know who to talk to or what to talk to, and the therapy that was on offer, I didn't, you know, feel like I benefited from. But yeah, I just think being able to, you know, like almost teach your students, but almost just get them to understand that mental health isn't something to be afraid from.
100%. Like the best thing a teacher could do is to just be honest with their students. So I had a teacher in year 9 English who was like the most honest guy. He would say if he was feeling shit, he was that, and it kind of just opens your eyes to like, like, he's a normal guy, he's my teacher, whatever. Yeah. It kind of just shows you can relate to them, that you're not going through this by yourself. There's other people that have similar thoughts and feelings. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I think, especially, you know, there should be some form of communication, whatever it is. Just, you know, so people who are suffering or do have these thoughts aren't, you know, suffering in silence. Well, moving on, actually, I want to discuss, you know, I mentioned briefly like therapy and things like that, but what have you found anything that, you know, you particularly benefit from that can, you know,
at all. I mean, personally for me, therapy like did nothing. No. I mean, I'm lucky to be privileged where my parents have private healthcare, so as soon as like everything started, like year 10 and 11, where it was more prominent for me, straight away got me some private therapists. I went to a psychologist, psychotherapist, had some few sessions, and I mean, back then I was much more reserved than I was now, but I just didn't feel comfortable talking to them. I didn't want to talk to them. They would have said like, do all this, that, but for me it did absolutely nothing. Nothing.
I think it's important to sort of not come to terms, but you almost need to find something that works for you. I mean, I found, you know, definitely sport, whether it's football, you know, I mean, I'm not really a gym lad, but just something, you know, I'm quite a sporty guy, and I think that rush of endorphins or whatever it is definitely does help my mindset. The weird thing is actually though, like, so obviously, you know, I used to play football quite a high level or whatever, but one of the things that, I mean, this goes back to, you know, the element of putting pressure on oneself, but when I was playing at that level or whatever level it is, I put so much pressure on myself. Like, I'm playing something I enjoy, and I'm doing a sport I love, and yet I had this, you know, as a 14-year-old kid, I'm beating myself up after training because I didn't make that pass, or because I think. Yeah, I mean, it's not what we were talking about before,
true, but 100%. Like, people don't realise within sport, like, it's where you would get a lot of mental health disorders, whether it be anxiety, depression, eating disorders, like putting yourself through that stress, wanting to perform to that level, is always going to be tough, and you're always going to be harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
You're always going to have other people to compare
Agreed.
to. But I think just exercise in general, as well as releasing serotonin and endorphins, just that's something to get the stress out of your body, whether it be lifting weights, going for a run, playing football. It just helps get your mind off things and just help release that stress as well.
And it's just a good thinking time, really. Like, I don't know, like, I've started going on the occasional morning run. I find that quite beneficial, to be honest. But, you know, as I'm out there jogging away, I really just, you know, my mind just sort of just, it allows me to just relax and sort of just think about what's going on. And if unnecessary stresses that, you know, I'd usually think about, whether that be, I don't know, stress head, I don't know, I stress about everything, actually. And it just sort of calms me down almost, giving me a sense of just reality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I used to run back in the day, and it definitely helped with it as a running high, or just having that open road and clear void kind of space in your mind, where if you want to think about just, I need to run, or think about whatever you want to think, it's just a good time by yourself with the fresh air as well. It's always going to be beneficial.
Definitely. Slight change though. Obviously you mentioned running high, but my mind just triggered to, like, obviously drugs and things like that. And I think that's quite an important discussion in terms of mental health, because
you should never use drugs as a coping mechanism. That's how I see things. I mean, I personally smoke weed often. But never once in my life have I ever felt depressed or really anxious and turned to weed. For me, that's like the biggest no-no, because what happens the day where you don't have that thing and you're in that, you're gonna
withdrawal symptoms.
You're gonna panic even more. It's just, you need to know how to deal with it by yourself naturally.
It is crazy though, because even, you know, I don't do drugs, but I do obviously drink, and even when I drink, I experience, you know, my mates can vouch for this, how my whole mindset and not mentality, but I almost see it as like a roller coaster. Like, you know, initially when I start drinking, I'm alright, and then I just plummet, and it's like, you know, obviously the calm down or whatever, and you wouldn't think you get that from drinking, but I really do. And it, like, you know, it obviously, you know, these substances, you know, arguably you shouldn't put in your body, but, like, especially when you have mental health, and, you know, your mind and your brain is so, I don't want to say problematic, but confusing. I find when I do drink, it just disrupts it even more. I mean, it's not the same for everyone, but
100. I do agree though. Like, there's been times where I've been on a night out, I might have the full night completely fine when I'm drunk, but then there have been many times where one thought might pop into my head during the night out, and because I'm drunk, it will, like, plummet, and it'll just go even worse from there. And you just kind of need to get yourself out of that situation.
It's just that nice. Sorry, it's just that, like, overthinking, isn't it?
It just leads you down that road. It's like you start one thing, and then it plummets again into more and more. Nitpicking all the small things.
So I do. You know, it's not that I'm against, you know, drugs and things like that. It's more for my own personal benefit. I just personally, I find I've been in a position where I am very. I just get really, I said really like 4 times, but I'm anxious. It's crazy, you know, the level of anxiety that I experience when I drink, and it's just, I don't want to say it's a shame, but it's just like that part and parcel of.
It is a shame. I mean, like, I personally feel my anxiety has held me back on a lot of things in my life, like whether it's not doing something or not saying something, or just like feeling shit within yourself, like you can't get out those words sometimes, or you just feel really cold, whatever the feeling might be. Like, it's never nice.
It's mad though when, you know, you have so much to say almost, but you can't say it, and it's mad.
It's so frustrating. It's like the worst thing to possibly have.
It's crazy because you have, you know, you wanna, you whether you're in a group of mates or it's just you and a friend or whatever, and you know you want to be able to discuss something, but you physically you can't. It's like this blockage.
Literally, like, I get like a blockage in my chest where I start feeling really tight. I just can't get them out at all.
I think that's the thing as well. It's not just you know, thoughts, and it's actually physical as well.
Especially with anxiety, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have you ever had panic attacks? Is that
well, funnily enough, one of like the first like
joking panic attacks?
Well, the first like stereotypical panic attack where like for complete short breath was actually here in your house.
Like, oh really?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. Off. And it just
when was this?
Probably like year 10 or 11. Okay. But like we was after a party, I was drunk, but literally no idea what came over me. I just absolutely panicked. I couldn't breathe. I ran outside. I was like screaming. I don't even remember who was with me. But
I think I do remember this.
It wasn't nice. Like I was really, really scared. It's like I've had similar panic attacks since, but not like the proper stereotypical one.
Yeah.
But,
it's because it's not it's not something where you just you see people having a bag and they're breathing into a bag. Like it's not that. It's just like I think I actually had one. The first, I don't really suffer from them, but I did get one. After Mum passed, and I went out clubbing. Really too soon in my eyes, and I was with one of my friends, and I just completely lost it. There was no reason, there was no trigger or anything. I was fine, and then the next second I wasn't, and then I had to just leave. I had to take myself out of that situation and just
100%.
I couldn't continue. Do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine how you would have been feeling during that process.
Yeah,
like, it's so hard, but just getting out of that situation is the one thing I can relate to, because you don't know what's going on and where you are. You just need to get out.
Yeah.
Even if you're by yourself in the room, like it just doesn't make sense.
You kind of need to just exit from that situation, whether it's whatever it is, if it's a toxic situation or you've put yourself in a situation where you aren't entirely comfortable. It's that just understanding where if you remove yourself from the situation and just let myself be okay.
100%. If you have no idea what's triggering you in that situation, it could be the music, it could just be the surrounding. So wherever it is, you just get out.
No, I completely agree.
Get your head clear.
Yeah.
It is really tough. Anxiety is, depression for me is like on and off. It used to be seasonal, but anxiety is like the one thing that is constant throughout my life. Like even when I was younger, I feel like I had anxious thoughts.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Like you're 8 years old thinking like that.
That's just the way it is. I don't fully remember how. I think maybe when Mum first got ill, maybe that was when it first started coming. But I definitely have memories from when I was younger where there were I was really superstitious, and I think when you have this is something I've learned to sort of not internalize my thoughts, like I'm in control, but I used to have give control to such external factors where I'd be like, right, it sounds really stupid me saying this, but that's how bad it can get. I'd be like, right, if I don't tie my laces 3 times before football training, I'm gonna have such a bad session. Or I laugh because it's pathetic, but
when it's just how your mind works.
Yeah, and it's like you can't, even though you know how stupid it seems and how nuts such a thought is, you need
to get it done.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to be feeling so uneasy with yourself. You're just going to be on edge, just that's not done. Shit, I need to get it.
It's crazy. And it's what you mentioned before about holding you back. And when you think in that way, you have no internal control. You're not in control of your situation. You're allowing hypothetical, superstitious thoughts to control whether you're gonna score a hat-trick or do well in an exam. That's not the case, but these thoughts dictate what you do, and that's what I hope people really do understand, how they aren't just depression isn't just something where, and anxiety isn't just something where you feel a bit sad. It's not that. It's so much more than that.
It takes over you completely. It's literally what you were saying before. It's it controls you. It may be irrational, but at the same time, in your head, it makes complete sense. Just it's completely logical. So if I don't follow it, then something definitely will happen.
Yeah.
And that will happen. But depression is the complete opposite, where you just don't control anything, and you're not just feeling sad, but you're just feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling sunk. There's so many words you can describe for depression, and everyone experiences it differently as well. That's the main thing to remember. It's just because some person might be depressed and getting on with his life doesn't mean you need to be doing the exact same thing.
You know, I'd look at certain people and I think, wow, like they have it all. You know, they're so confident, and I'd give myself a hard time because I wasn't this person who
you thought was doing all this. It's like, that's the main thing is our social media, I feel.
Yeah.
That contributes to it so much. It's just like, whether you don't go on it or you go on it once a month, just scrolling through and looking at other people's lives and then just thinking, oh, like, why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing this? It's just, it adds to it more. It's not
dangerous, isn't it?
It's not something you need at all.
I think social media can be powerful, but at the same time, it can really, really be just a really horrible place.
100%. There are so many toxic people out there as well. That's what you need to remember. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, you probably let people follow you that you know, but in general, you have toxic people that will just comment on things for the sake of commenting on them, whether it be rude or racist, whatever it may be. It's just, sometimes you need to just block that out and not listen to what other people say.
No, definitely. It's important to realise, like, it's just a screen, and I think it's not reality. And I think when you know, oftentimes I could be scrolling on social media for hours, and you know, the I think two main reasons why, you know, I'm against social media. The first one being, it's just the productivity. I think to myself, like, during the time, like, if I'm looking on my, you know, what I'm doing during that time, whatever I could be doing, I could, you know, writing, I could...
Exactly. Looking at YouTube videos to learn a new skill, like, literally anything except that.
And instead, you know, I'm looking at the same article on BuzzFeed, you know what I mean? Like, it's not beneficial, but, like, you're so engrossed in that sort of...
100% is that social media culture where it's kind of everything is going on there. But I mean, like I said earlier, there's also the good side of it, because you can follow who you want. You can go and follow really positive accounts that showing you all the mental health advice, showing you different positives, just good aspirations and thoughts every single day. It's just I follow a few myself where I wouldn't say I look at it every single day, but every now and then it might be good to just see a good positive quote, just get that in your heads.
No, I agree. It can also, like you said, be... I think you just need to tailor who you, especially on something like Instagram, you know, where, especially with the way, you know, you get Love Island celebrities and people like that getting not valued, but, you know, they're seen as these celebrities, but the pictures and things like that, they're not real. And especially, I think, you know, as a young, not adult, but, like, you know, a 14, 15-year-old looking at, I don't know, whoever it is on Instagram, it will plague your head. Like, you'll see this guy, this 6'5", you know, absolute tank of a man, and you think, well, you know, I'm not that.
So I must be shit.
Yeah, but like
100%, you can't be comparing yourself to people on Instagram, because you need to remember, like, Instagram, you're literally posting like, the good photos, the good times. You don't want to post a photo of yourself in bed crying, are you?
No,
you can't go and do that. Well, that's the thing as well. Like, so many people value these likes, like, with their life. Like, literally, they'll be like looking, like, they'll post something and be like, okay, like, it's not that number yet. Like, they get anxious about it. It's just like, it means nothing. Like, you have to value yourself so much more than that and other things.
It's weird though you say that, because, like, even though I completely agree, it's every time, like, let's say I post something and every like I get, it's like a little rush of endorphins. Like, even though, like, I know it means nothing. You know, if I see, you know, I got whatever it is, I'm getting this little buzz, thinking, oh, I'm doing all right here. but then all of a sudden, when that's not the case, like, you know, when 2 days later, when you know, your picture or whatever it is isn't important anymore, it's like, I'm like, fuck, shit, like, I'm not getting this attention. And it's like, wow, like, even someone like I'd say I'm quite aware of this kind of shit. I let myself
100%. Even if you are aware, like, it still plays on you. Like, you can never be completely immune to all of it. I feel like a lot of people with the likes, it's just like you said, they get a little boost, they start feeling better about themselves. Just like, is it
meaningless? Really,
it is meaningless. Like, when you think about it, it's like, don't get me wrong, I barely post on social media. But I'm sure back in the day, I also liked all the likes going up. Like, come on, like, getting to 90.
Yeah, I mean, you loved a bit of Snapchat. I know you and your streaking. I know all of that.
I feel like that's a bit different. I never got excited with the streaks and all of that, but still, 100% it's just like, the attention is a big part of it. You kind of, I have these people that follow me or liking me, or they like what they're seeing. It's just like, that's cool.
No, I just, like, I think what we the main point here is social media can be good, but it can also be very bad. And I think, you know, especially as young adults, you know, you need to be very careful, you know, the kind of stuff you are looking at, because,
like you said, you need to tailor it to yourself. You need to pick the certain things that you want to see and remove the things that you don't want to see, especially if they're triggering things that might set you on a road of anxiety.
Yeah, because that is real.
100%.
One thing I want to discuss though is, I mean, I know we briefly touched over it, but it's sort of like not coping mechanisms, but is there anything, you know, you necessarily found that worked for you?
So for my anxiety mainly, like when I feel like breathlessness or quite tight in the chest, I'd literally just do a breathing exercise where I would breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and breathe out the same thing. Yeah. And after like a minute or two, I find myself a lot more calm, a lot more ease.
Is that a bit of meditation, or is that...
Not even, literally just breathing deeply for 4 seconds, holding it, and then just breathing out. I don't know what it actually does within your physiology, but it's meant to kind of give yourself like a hard reset. Yeah. And to calm the heart rate down and everything. And I mean, for me at least, it's definitely helps in the times I've tried it.
I think that's you know, it is important that you do have coping mechanisms or ways to handle your emotions. I mean, I for one, in fact, you know, there was a book I read. I mean, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos and things like that to help myself, and most of it was just shit. You know, most of it was... But I found a really, really positive book. It's called Thrive by Rob Kelly. And I kind of, when I read this book, my whole mindset towards this anxiety and whatever, it just completely changed. You know, I sort of saw it for what it was, and really I came to just came to accept that this is just the way things are, and, you know, I'm moving forward for it. So
it's a part of you and everything. It's not something that's a burden or pulling you back. It's with me. Like, how can I deal and improve myself with it?
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a read.
Yeah, well, I'll put the link in the description. So, it's a very good book. Another one I actually read, it wasn't necessarily the same kind of thing, but it was an interesting read to see how relevant, but I can't remember what it's called. Frazzled by Ruby Wax, and I think she's like this neuroscientist, but like comedian, and like it was sort of this guide to mindfulness, which is like this, like, I think similar to what you've explained, like breathing technique, whatever it is, and it's just like this thing when you sort of relax and just think about what's going on, and just focus on whether it's, I don't know, certain noises or your senses, and it just, when something like that happens, it kind of removes all this shit. So that's another book I think is pretty decent.
I definitely agree. Like, finding your coping mechanisms is a massive thing, because everyone's gonna be different. Some people just want the mindfulness and meditation. Some people just go for a walk and that will help. But finding that kind of small thing, wherever it may be, is definitely a big part of managing yourself. Yeah.
No, I think it is very important. I just want to say though, like, you know, looking back at myself now, I mean, especially, I think, I don't know about you, but the kind of improvements I've made, I think, by talking about it and having these kind of discussions, I have, whether it's, you know, small improvements or large improvements, I'm in a much better place than I was when I was, you know, 14, 15, 16. Is that something you...
100%. Just speaking about it with your friends, speaking about it with whoever it may be, it helps it become easier to speak about again in the future. So it's like, the first time you do it, it's going to be really hard. You might stutter a lot, but then the next time you do it, it's much easier. And then it becomes, like, say, like more of a norm, and then just more acceptable to speak about. I've got a tattoo from year 11, which is like for mental health awareness. And when I got it at the time, I was kind of like, I want to get it to remind myself that you're always going to be here, but also just kind of to get people to start a conversation. And sometimes it might be really uncomfortable.
Show the camera,
Sometimes it might be really uncomfortable for me, but some people see it, like, what does it mean? So you start the conversation, and then whether it be just speaking about mental health in general or speaking about yourself, it just starts that conversation. I think that's what's really important.
Definitely. I think, you know, something we keep bringing up is just discussing it, and knowing that it is okay. It is completely okay to feel this way.
It's true though, but like some people feel ashamed and feel like the classic, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
You need to remember that a lot, because it's completely okay. Like we're not a superhuman. You're not meant to feel amazing every single day. It's just not possible. You have your chemicals, and you also have just your general mental health stuff.
Yeah. So it's just the acknowledgement when you are there to sort of accept. And you know, I'm not a specialist or you know, I don't claim to be, but I speaking from experience, I think it's this understanding that when you do accept and you do, you know, just come to terms with, this is how I feel and this is what I'm experiencing, you better positively implicate on your life.
I couldn't agree more, because like you said, you're not fighting against it anymore. You're kind of accepting it as it is, as part of you, and then whether you're reading stuff or doing different things, you're working on how to kind of be more okay with that within you.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good thing.
No, I think a lot of what we've discussed today, I think, you know, definitely help people who will watch this and sort of who are struggling. Is there, you know, before we wrap this up, is there anything, you know, you'd want to say to, you know, if there is someone listening who isn't feeling too great, is there something you'd want to say so they can sort of...
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic kind of cliche, but like, you will get better.
Yeah.
It's something that's always really hard to remember, but you will eventually get better down the line. You need to speak it as well, get it off your chest, because, like we've said many times, it relieves so much pressure.
Yeah.
It halves that problem. And it just doesn't feel like
doesn't it?
It doesn't feel like a burden on you anymore, because it's like, okay, like even if it's one conversation and they don't speak to them again, it's still like, okay, like at least someone knows, or at least like I'm not the only one thinking this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that is very important, and you know, I think especially, you know, if someone is suffering, just understand that people will listen, and you know, if you have good friends around you, or good, you know, it doesn't even need to be a friend. 100%. People will listen and share. I don't want to say share your. I'm going to say that, but
well, that's true. Like regardless of whether you're friends with them or not, I think a lot of people don't realise that when you're down in the dumps, everyone will come to care for you.
Yeah.
Like straight away. If you go up to, I'm sure if you go on a random night out and you start crying, you'll have 5 people come up to you to make sure you're okay. Like, it's weird, but we're humans. Like, people want to care for each other. So the sooner you kind of get it off your chest, the sooner you'll get that help.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for coming down today and having this chat. I would shake your hand, but you know, I don't have the...
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an honour myself.
It's been a pleasure. And I'm glad you're doing all right.
I'm good.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear you.
Don't know why I say thank you, but